Alright everybody, welcome back, and new update means new jets, and as per usual, I'm going to go ahead and go through every jet being added this update. Short, simple, and to the point. Starting off with, the only thing the US is getting is actually a jet bomber. This is the B-66. Honestly, I'm really not sure why they chose this of all planes to add. There's other ones that I think would have a much better fit, like the B-47 for example, but I mean, hey, here we are. It gets an incredibly limited kit. You can either carry 4 of those 3,000 pound demolition bombs, or you can carry 14 750 pound bombs. It has very poor acceleration and also doesn't turn like at all. And while yes, it does get a defensive turret as you're about to see, it's at 9.0 and almost everything that you fight is going to have aim 9Bs. And to be quite frank, unless something changes with this, I fully expect this to just eat aim 9Bs for breakfast. It's not even that fast for 9.0. I mean, there's tons of 8.3s and 8.7s now that can catch this thing easily. I really don't see it being particularly good. It does get 4 3,000 pound demolition bombs in a bomb site, so I could see that being decent for ground RB, but really, for air RB, it doesn't seem to be all that hot. Now, the British tech tree is actually getting 3 separate Hornets this update. If you watched my Hornet video, you might remember that I covered both the Australian and the Canadian Hornets, and I said that Gaijin might choose either one to add to the British tech tree. Well, they decided to just go ahead and add both. Taking a look at the research tree, the Australian ones are the tech tree ones. It starts with a 12.3 Hornet, just like the American F-18A, 4 Sparrows, 2 9Ls, 2 Walleyes, basically the same exact thing, just Australian. Now, they are adding another 12.7 Premium Hornet. This is the Canadian Hornet, though in-game, Gaijin has just gone ahead and made it a copy and paste of the American F-18C early. Gets access to up to 6 7Ps. It has a SAT-MAV, 60 countermeasures, all the same stuff. Same BR as well. And of course, they do also have the 14.0 Hornet that you see me flying in the background. This gets a couple of interesting quirks. It has the same flight model as the American F-18C late, so same weight, same engines, all that good stuff. But it only has 60 internal countermeasures instead of the 120 that we're used to seeing on these top tier Hornets. Now, in exchange, it does also get access to 2 BOL rails, so you do not have to worry about countermeasures at all. You're still at 700. Less than the Finnish Hornet, sure, but still more than enough. And besides that, as far as I can tell, all the important loadouts are the same. You still get access to AIM-9Ms as your top IR missile. You still get access to both the AIM-120B and the AIM-120C5, and up to 10 of them. Of course, there's still basically no reason to play this thing, considering the fact that, well, the Eurofighter already exists in the same tech tree. But I suppose at least the option is here now, and well, some people might prefer running these SAT-MAVs over the Brimstones in ground RB. Another new plane coming this update is the best F5 ever made, the F5TH. The problem is, right now at least, it kinda sucks. I am fully expecting to see some changes, but if it doesn't, well, right now, at a battle rating of 13.3, on an F5, you get a maximum of 2 Derby missiles and 2 AIM-9Ms. 13.3. The same battle rating as stuff like the F-16ADF or even the F-16D. For my sim players out there, it does have a really cool cockpit if you ask me, some new MFDs, and it does have that HMD as well. But 2 Derby and 2 AIM-9M on an F5 platform at this battle rating is just honestly kind of terrible. I would expect this to go down to 13.0, and it still wouldn't be the 13.0, but at least it'd be, decent at that point. It's also a nice little option for ground RB with the excellent Lightning 3 targeting pod and DMAVs as well. It does get laser guided bombs, but they're just the lizards you see on the premium AMX. Wouldn't recommend them. France is getting a high tier squadron vehicle. In this case, it's the F-16A OCU coming in for their Benelux subtree. And this actually looks very solid. Now, I will say I fully expect this thing to go up in BR. At the moment, it is at 12.7. If that doesn't change, this will be a very strong addition, which we'll get to here in a second. But the reason I think it will is there's already a Block 15, the same flight model as this, with AIM-9Ms in the same tree, and it's at 13.0. Now, admittedly, this can't bring the pod to have extra countermeasures, but if you do, you're giving up missiles on the other F-16, so basically no one actually does that. So even just disregarding the other weapons this thing gets, when it comes to air, you're basically, if this doesn't change, getting the same jet that you get at 13.0, but at 12.7 because squadron vehicle. And you may have noticed that I do not actually have a full loaded AIM-9Ms on this plane. The outer 4 pylons have different missiles, in this case the Magic 2 if you're familiar. This is a very agile, very high acceleration IRCCM missile, and this IRCCM works a little bit differently than the AIM-9Ms. Basically, it shrinks the field of view of the missile, so the faster the missile can close the distance to the target, the more difficult it is to flare in time, and well, the Magic 2 is excellent at that, while also being much better at off-core sight shots than the AIM-9M. If nothing changes, this F-16 is going to be extremely fun to play. The only real downside is that for air-to-ground, despite the fact that it gets a nice little targeting pod, the only, real air-to-ground guided munitions that it has are just AS-30Ls. The final edition is long awaited and honestly very overdue at this point, and it's the F-16I. It's coming just as expected with AIM-9M and AIM-120C5, and honestly, as it is right now, it doesn't look that bad. Currently, the plane actually weighs slightly less without CFTs than the F-16C Block 50 does. That actually gives it a little bit better overall turn performance compared to the Block 50, despite the engine making less low-speed thrust. Now, I do want to caution y'all that everything is very much work in progress at this point, and according to the Israeli Air Force website, this thing empty should weigh 10 tons. However, if nothing changes, this should actually be pretty solid. Better overall flight performance than the F-16 Block 50, and more countermeasures once that is fixed. The only big issue is that currently it only has access to the AIM-120C5, and in War Thunder at least, the AIM-120B is better in almost every single scenario. So really, they just need to go ahead and give this thing the AIM-120A or B. Before anyone says anything in the comments, I doubt they're going to give it the Derby ER, partially because that would probably be a bit too strong for now, and also because, well, in service this thing only uses AMRAAM. The Derby was only tested on it, and while yes, Gaijin does do that all the time, they can be kind of hit or miss. The only consistent thing about Gaijin is their inconsistency. But in any case, if you've made it this far, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you did in the comments down below, and what you're looking for in the next update as well. It's a pretty small update. It's pretty boring for me at least, but I mean, hey, if they can fix gun damage, I'll be satisfied. But I'll catch y'all next time, and peace, y'all.